Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Lack of Focus, episode 82, Getting Back on Track. I am your host, Ed Horde, and alongside me tonight, once again, one Mr. Sean Dorsey. Sean, how's it going, my friend?
Good. How you doing?
Good. And of course, our producer extraordinaire, one Mr. Chris Sheriff. Chris, how's it going?
Good, thanks.
Good. So we're going to try to make this a little bit of a short one. We're having scheduling issues. We've had all kinds of fun stuff. So we're actually recording this on a Saturday, the night that we're supposed to be streaming Inquisitor Murder. So we're going to try to do a shorter show so we can get to doing that, and then we'll get back on our regular schedule. So the main topic tonight is mostly going to be us discussing what it's like getting back into the game stores. We've all been doing it now, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of just sit down and chat. So, Chris, I know you've got some cool stuff, but I've got to get Ed's 40K corner in first. So
Ed and
I
Sean's 40K corner.
I was just gonna say I'm not the only one that's got 40K discussion. I intentionally held off on talking to Sean in the pregame so that I can have this conversation there. So, Sean, what have you been doing lately?
Well, a couple different things. My son and I got together at my house today, and there's only like one or two places in town that have game space open, and they're too far away for me to drive to. So he came over today, and we played our first. I'm not going to call it a game, but kind of sit down and figure things out.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
we did about 660 points each. He had a little bit more than me. I was at 655. He was at 662, so it was right in there. He was playing his Thousand Suns, and me, of course, the Space Marines.
Which
And it was
what
literally,
chapter, what chapter did you go with?
I'm doing the Ultramarines.
Ultramarines.
Yeah, yeah. There's things in me that want to do a couple different things, but Ultramarines is probably the best. Blood Angels looks really cool too, but
I told you, you could easily just paint them your own paint scheme, and then today they're Ultramarines, and tomorrow they're Blood Angels,
yeah,
and the day
yeah.
after that they're Salamanders.
Yeah, for me, it's just I haven't figured that portion out yet. I still don't have. I still have minimal amounts of stuff. So
Yeah, no, 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 it's fine.
but
Legitimately, like, I don't knock anyone. Like, I know plenty of people who are through and through Space Wolves fans. They have the Space Wolf tattoo. They are only ever going to play Space Wolves, whether they're good or they're bad. Every one of their Marines is painted in the Space Marine. They couldn't possibly imagine a Grey
yeah,
Hunter posing as a an Ultramarine today. Like, they just couldn't get it, and I get that. I genuinely
right,
get. From me, again, in my early days of gaming, it was simply a cost thing. Like a a tactical marine's a tactical marine's a tactical marine, whether a blood angel, whether it's a dark angel, or whether it's whatever other chapter. If I just paint them my paint scheme, which is the Sons of Steel, everyone keeps calling them Imperial Fists. They are not, because they are black and gold, not red and gold. Um, they can be whatever I want them to be today. Now, that does get a
right,
little bit tricky with special characters because I had to make my own special characters that had the same armament. So if I wanted to do Marnius Calgar, I have one of my sergeants that's got two power fists so that he's technically equipped WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get with the right equipment that Marnius Calgar would have had, but he's obviously not Marnius Calgar. He's Marvin Calgar today.
yeah, yeah. So it's I don't get that. I'm not that big into the lore, and I don't really care about that right now. My goal is just to learn to play and learn to first put crap together and then learn to play, which we
Yeah,
did today.
yeah.
We each had two units, and then he had a one of his casters in a unit, and then he had this big gigantic looking thing on the table that would have just rolled me over if we would have done a full game and stuff. But we literally just did one round of play where we did a lot of building and setup first, and then after that we did the movement phase, and then what is it, the psycher phase or
Second
whatever it is.
phase.
Did that phase, and then we did combat, and there's still a lot that we have to learn within those things. And it was just range shooting, and of course, he has an advantage because we're playing on a small table, which is fine. Where I didn't get my 36-inch advantage, where he was, we were within 24 inches to be able to shoot. So
Yep.
it was a lot of fun, and that's the whole point of it, was us doing it on a small small space, and
Yeah, there is
being it.
a bit of a minus actually going first in the game.
Well,
You're
yeah,
opening yourself up.
yeah, and for us, we didn't really go by the rules and who did what at what
Oh
time.
yeah, no, 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 that's fine.
I moved, then he moved everything, and then I shot everything, then he shot everything. That's
Okay.
pretty much how we did it because compressed time and we just wanted to get some gaming in and stuff. So, but we got through it all, and it was actually really enjoyable. I there's some nuances in it, of course, strategies that I'll have to learn, things like that. But it was really an enjoyable time spending time with my son, being able to sit down and just talk and play and learn and laugh a lot, and just see how things are going on and stuff like that. So good first day, good first introduction to it. We may do another one like that, but do it with more melee combat rather than range combat, and then from there, then we'll go to the next steps of bigger armies, bigger playing fields, and things like that. So,
Sure. You
but
can
we had a
oh, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say that the goal for us isn't to sit there and one trounce the other. It's that get together and spend time with my son, him spend time with his dad, and just play games. Because that's the whole. Lately, we haven't been able to because we're so busy trying to do other things in this short period of time on a Saturday and stuff, and but we did spent 6 hours together, which I don't think when you're my age and your kids are grown, 6 hours is that's a great amount of time. So
Yeah. Good.
then we went out to the Warhammer store where he bought some paints, and then he bought it's the paint holder thing like what Chris has when he um
Yeah,
does
and
his
those things come in
we're
different sizes, I learned, because of course
yeah.
was watching Chris's stream, saw this, like, oh, I want one. So I just picked one up off the shelf at my game store. Here we ended up getting the XL one, which is meant for like the large bases. So he can't do an
Oh,
orc in
no, no,
that.
no, no, I'm talking about the where
The
you
actual
you put
pads.
yeah, where you put the pots.
Oh, okay. I thought you
And
were talking about the little handle guy.
well, yeah, we both have those too, but it's these things right here. It's
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah, 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 yeah. Those are cool.
Yeah, I
yeah, he
managed to
bought
get
the
another set so I can finish my wall.
yeah, he bought a the what did he bought the it's like a $90. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a $90 one that has a whole bunch, and it's a case that you can take with you too.
Yeah, it's like a hobby 2 set or something.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it has like I bought the one with two of these in, and I decided I'm going to completely change my whole hobby space in this office where I'm at, and how I'm going to do things, and so I have to wait for the rest of it to come. But I bought like an art
Insanely
table.
jealous.
Yeah, I bought
Insanely
an
jealous.
yeah, so I bought an art table, and then I'm gonna just change everything I have in this office, and that way I have the hobby space, and then I have this space where I have the computer space and stuff. So small rooms, that type of stuff. But um, and then I saw while we were at the Games Workshop store, I saw one of my not old friends, but friends from X-wing and stuff, and we had a pretty good conversation about X-wing second edition and stuff, and um, he's kind of waiting for the get back together to play because that's kind of what he's like me. I'd rather play face to face than play even on Vassal and things like that, where
Yeah.
I'm not a good spatial person when it comes to 2D screens, so Vassal's really hard for me unless I cheat, size it out, and use movement sticks and everything. Which I could do, but I'm not going to. But
We've never talked about that on a previous podcast where you could cheat and find out where things landed if you just pre-cut out movement things and set them on your screen.
set them on the screen, yeah.
We never talked about that
Just put
before.
it as a 1-to-1 ratio and it's easy.
Yep.
It's easy, yeah. So and then that was nice to have that conversation about X-wing, and kind of gets me back into the let's get. I'm not going to go into the politics of it, but it'd be nice if we could get back to a world where we don't have to worry about the COVID stuff, because people's making choices that are causing it to continue. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, but the other thing I did is I bought the Descent Legends of the Dark game today, and the game store that I bought it at, they have a program where you get a point per dollar you spend, and then it's a little weird, but if you spend 150 points, you get 10%. If you spend 250, you get 20%. And so I had a bunch of points on it from buying stuff, and so I was able to get it for 20% off the
Good.
game. So $180 game basically for 145, and it comes with, of course, everything for the game. It comes with a whatever the bad guy. I haven't gone through everything yet, but whoever the bad guy is comes with a similar sculpt, but it's a better sculpt. It's actually more refined. It came with four of the discs, the health discs that are acrylic. So those were promos, which were pretty cool to me. And then it came with promo cards, which I don't really care about promo cards, but whatever, they're cards for the game. And then I bought the sleeves for the game and stuff so that I can sleeve everything up. Then it comes in a nice box. It's actually a two tier box. It's like a box inside of a box. So the bottom of the box has what look like, walls in it that are like dungeon walls in it. And then it has another box that's the same size that sits on top of that, which holds all the plastic. They actually did blown plastic form for all the figures. So you don't have
Ooh.
the figures in the bags like you did in first and second edition. So you have all of that. You have all the cardboard and stuff, which I'll probably be punching while we're doing our show tonight. Is they have all of that you can put together, then put in the bottom and store it all the 3D, because it's a 3D game now. So
Oh,
it comes
interesting. I
with,
didn't know that.
yeah, it's actually, it has 3D terrain and stuff like that. So
Now I've got to go look.
yeah, it's actually pretty cool, but it's designed with all that storage in place. So I really couldn't beat. Like I said, it's one of my favorite games. So I like the only thing that sucks, and I will say this, which it's a Fantasy Flight thing, and I understand it. This was an early release, so I don't think every store got early release games or early release sets. But the app doesn't come out till August 6th.
You
Yeah.
can't play it yet.
I can't play the game until August 6th because the app doesn't come out. But I guess that's a way for me to kick myself in the butt and put everything together and get it all ready to play and read through and learn everything again, because I'm sure it has different rule sets and stuff, but you can't really do anything until the 6th with it because it
Yeah,
is
so,
an app driven game.
yeah. So like Mansions of Madness Second Edition, it's 100% app driven, whereas in
Yep.
like
Yeah.
100%
Descent and
app driven.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's not, before with Descent, you could do the adversary role. So it's a 5 player game, one with the, like Imperial Assault was. And I think, was it Mansions of Madness like that in the first one
like your
too?
normal dungeon crawls, basically Hero Quest, D&D
Yeah.
to an
Yeah.
extent.
Where
Obviously,
you
someone's
had
just
a,
playing as a dungeon master,
yeah.
effectively.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of one of those things where I not disappointed, but it would be cool to have that. So if you have a 5 player group, you could do that, where you don't have to cut somebody out or things like that. But no, it looks really good. It's a lot of people didn't like the artwork. There's a lot of complaints about it, but I just think that's the way we are today in society. Is if it doesn't fit exactly what our mold is for the world, then we'll just complain about it. But this one here to me is it's a good looking game. I like the cartoony artwork in it and stuff, and the figures are a little more cartoony and stuff. But it
Back
it
and forth
looks.
on it because I backed the reprint of Hero Quest.
Oh, you did?
So
Oh,
Okay.
you did.
yeah,
You're
Yeah,
uh,
which is cool too.
yeah. So I don't know if I'll ever get time to play both. So I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
Yeah,
how
undecided.
how do
yeah.
you feel about having a board game that's completely app driven? Because I keep thinking,
I don't mind it at all.
I've got
well,
Mansions
so
of
this,
Madness already, and it's
Yeah,
been
it's
a thing for
it's
a while.
perfectly fine.
well, so I
Imperial
had
Assault went to it. Descent went to it.
I had this interesting conversation with my son. So, for example, Breath of the Wild 2 came out on pre-order. Look at that; those do look gorgeous.
Yeah,
Breath of the Wild 2 came out for pre-order, and he intentionally bought it off of Amazon as opposed to buying it from the Nintendo store. And when I asked him the reason why he did this, he's like, "Well, I want to have a physical copy of it. If anything ever happens, I always will always have that physical copy of the game." And I said, "Well, that's kind of rare because, like, right now, that's kind of where the video game industry is going. Like, physical copies of anything are getting super, super rare. Like my tower right here, there isn't even a spot to put an optical drive in it. Like I've got three
hmm
big fans on the front, like legitimately having physical media. And obviously the new PlayStation 5, the new Xbox that came out, they came out with digital edition only so that you would download the games. And my concern is that at some point in time, someone like my son's gonna get nostalgic about the PlayStation 5 and want to play PlayStation 5 games and can't get them because the
hmm
PlayStation Network isn't being supported anymore. The games not being supported anymore. So you have games that you paid for and you can't play with them. But like board games are always in my mind eternal. Like all the content you need to play of the game are in the box. If Fantasy Flight games or Atomic Mass games were ever to go under and they didn't support the app anymore, you'd have a physical board game that you couldn't play because it's app driven. I think that
I don't. I
that
don't
maybe
worry about that. The reason why I don't worry about that because I know that if that ever happened, the community would take over. It's like Imperial Assault has another whole community that's taken over the game, and you know, I think they like even 3D print models and things for it, but they produce new content continuously, and
good for them. Good for them.
Like
so
XCOM was probably the first app-driven game I can think of.
yeah, XCOM was their from Fantasy Flight. It was. I don't know if others did it, but XCOM was their first truly app-driven game.
Yeah,
And
Um,
right.
when you say app driven, like what is like is it the
Everything's
mechanic?
done in the app, so the app drive. So if you're looking at XCOM does all the timing, does because there's 4 players, and you're literally playing like an XCOM video game, but you're playing it on a board game with an app, and the app drives everything. So
I
the
think
app tells
Mansions
you,
or
yeah,
Descent,
you might be
those
able
apps are
to,
probably easier to describe, I think. Um,
yeah,
so basically, if you think of playing D&D, where I'm a dungeon master for our group, so I decide where the monsters go.
yeah,
I draw the map. So what used to happen, for example, Mansions of Madness First Edition, you had a book of scenarios, and you'd build the map that the thing told you.
Yeah,
right,
just like Hero
Yeah,
Quest. You just literally mentioned
yeah.
again did
exactly,
exactly the same
yep,
So
mechanic.
for Mansions of Madness Second Edition, the app will tell you that you start off on this tile, and that's all you
and,
see. And
and
then
then it
when you open a
builds it out.
door, it'll tell you what room that is and who's in that room, and it'll do the conversations for you with like audio files for
Yeah,
the
Don't get me wrong,
exposition and everything.
that is really, really cool. Because don't get me wrong, if you've played Hero Quest. I mean, there was always something weird about like you could see the entire map laid out. Because for those of you who have never played Hero Quest, you only have one board, but you have multiple scenarios. I think there's what 6 or 8 in the
We've had
original
this
board.
conversation already, Ed.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Yours is
on the
different.
US version. In the UK, we didn't have to do that. We built it as you went.
So for ours, in the US version, you open the book, and depending on what scenario you're playing, there was a map inside. So the
Yeah.
board itself was very generic. And depending on what scenario you did, you put doors in different places and put furniture in different rooms, kind of thing. But if you were running the game, like you did all that stuff ahead of time, because otherwise, every time someone opened a door, there's a 15-minute pause while you have to go through and put everything in. It just delays the game. So to
Um,
shorten it up, you just built it all out ahead of time. So I could see the advantage. And maybe if they had a book that went along with it, like if the app ever failed, like you can always just pull this stuff out of the book. Maybe I'd be more. Maybe it's just me. I'm old. I'm at the point where like I can't possibly imagine pulling a board game off the shelf and not having all the contents to be able to play it. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong because it doesn't feel like a board game. That it feels more like I'm playing the app and the board is just kind of there as a secondary kind of thing.
I can agree with you on that. I mean, I can see why that would be a concern. My big thing about it is that as you get older, it's harder to get groups together.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
So I really like these games because they become one-player games too. They're not just a five-player game or a four-player game. It's a one-player game,
Well, and
and
don't
I
get me
can.
wrong, like having all those audio files and the conversations like being done by professional voice actors, like that helps with the immersion. I'm on board with that. I
So
totally
the
get
thing
it.
I would say, I've got Imperial Assault. I've never played Imperial Assault as a player. I've never taken one of the heroes and managed to run through and actually play the game.
Yeah,
I've always had
but
to
you
be the
could.
Imperial player.
But you could, yeah, yeah. And that's the problem with it is that a lot of times people, if you own the game and you have your group coming, you're probably never going to get to play the game. Where going down to a four-player game and being able to play, I think, is more fun, for everybody
Yeah,
because
It's
you're,
not.
it's,
It's not when you are against your friends either.
yeah, yeah, it becomes you against an app, so you're against an adversary, and that's what's pretty cool.
I see he's gone green as well.
I was gonna say I was waiting for Kermit the Frog to start singing.
Am I
But
dead?
it's not
Your
your red,
video's gone off. That's all.
Oh, okay, hold on.
but it doesn't do the same thing that it would normally do. Like right now, like it's got your icon that you put on there.
It's
No,
a problem with the webcam. It probably needs to unplug the USB and plug it back in.
Yeah, I'll just go without for the rest of it. I don't want to
Yeah,
screw anything else up.
no worries.
But anyway, so that's kind of my week in gaming, and I got together with a friend that lives down in Atlanta. He came up for the week, and I was able to jump in the gaming sessions with him, and got to play a few pretty cool board games and stuff. So it was a good week of gaming for me. We'll just put it that way.
It's
good,
good.
good. All right, Chris, you're up. You've got stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I'll
Stuff I don't
start
know.
off just so that we keep the theme going. I finished painting my Necromunda gang. So I posted it in the Discord in painting.
They look
So I
good. They really do.
finished all 9 of my slave ogrins. I did most of them I got done on the stream, but just finishing them off, I was like, I need to get them done today. So I didn't stream today, but I've been painting pretty much since 10 a.m. this morning, just painting straight through to now, stopping to
Good,
eat and ablution breaks. But
good. I
yeah,
wanted to do that today. I had way too much stuff on my plate today. Tomorrow is going to be more like that for me. I've got a couple of things, but my hope is that I'm going to be starting new models when it comes down to painting with Chris Sunday, as opposed to finishing off the old ones that I still have not finished that I need for Tuesday to play against Logan. I'm hoping to start my Astartes. So like I'm going to prime a 5-man squad. I just want to test the scheme and see how it looks. So I'm hoping to start doing that while it's sit down and paint with Chris Day.
yeah. Oh, it was good. The yellow got to be more and more frustrating. The pictures don't really show it, but because once you got to a big bulky armor, trying to do a contrast yellow didn't really help at all. So yeah, it was
It is
a
one of
bit
the
of a
hardest
nightmare, but they were good.
colors to cover.
Yeah, so I did some painting. My Necromunda gang's finished, and then I had my meeting on Thursday when we should have recorded. Um, with
Wasn't my
the
fault this week.
Yeah,
Wasn't my
it was
fault.
all me. I knew coming into this week that I wasn't going to be able to record because we're having this meeting about like running events at the store and how all that was going to work and everything. So um, that meant that on Friday we could have our first X-Wing night back at the store in the after hours
Yeah,
room. So I got there at like 10 to 6 and left at 2 a.m.
that sounds like a good gaming night.
Yeah, I got 3 games in. I made 5 different lists. One of them was the Separatist list that I've ran before with the 2 I-5 drones and the 2 I-5 tri-fighters and the 3 HMP gunships. But I made 4 new lists. I made
Ooh.
but in fact, it wasn't even a new Rebel list. It was a list I told Mike he should play. The 4 X-Wings, the B-Wing with the tractor beam.
Oh,
So I
there you
ran
go.
ran that. Sorry, I didn't play with that one. But that's in my case at the moment. The Separatist list in my case. Then I did a Kylo list with just a stupid Kylo.
Was it the fat Kylo or the thin Kylo?
He is extremely overweight. Let me find it.
I just saw mine today.
Uh,
I went through my stuff. I was looking for those Alpha Class Star Wings. I found those, dug those out, and I saw Fat Kylo. I'm like, oh, there's Fat Kylo.
it's only 89 points.
Only.
Extreme maneuvers and prime thrusters on Kylo. Then I went with two. This is just terrible. I just couldn't be bothered doing anything good. So I went with two TIE SFs, both Zeta Squadron survivors, so the Initiative 2s, with automated targeting priority, Special Forces gunner, concussion missiles, and passive sensors. So the 50 points apiece, a bit chunky, but they get to do interesting things, and because of 50 points, you want to kill them.
And not Kylo.
Yeah.
Was this the Kylo kills one ship and then everyone runs away kind of list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get to play a game with it. And, this was one of the lists that didn't make it to it. This list and the X-Wing list didn't make it to a table.
And is that the 4 X-Wing and a B?
Yeah. My
Can't wait
Imperial list made it to a table, and that was the Darth Vader and the two TIE RBs.
It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's Vader, and that's it.
Yeah. Cardia Academy Cadets are called. That's the name. Initiative 1 TIE RB with synced laser cannon and maneuver assist because you can't afford the shooty title. I think I posted pictures of this on the Discord as well in the X-Wing channel.
Yep.
So I set both of my my ties up on one side, and then Vader was kind of like in the middle, just so he could go anywhere. And yeah, the ties didn't quite handle how I expected them to. It was in my head, I was thinking I was going to fly them like I would fly a fire spray. You know, just
yeah, I can see that.
go. I'll move in, then I'll do a K turn, and then start running and shoot him at the back. But one, they don't have K turns; they only have Talon rolls. So you've got to be really cognizant of the area you're going to need to turn into. So you need to turn early, if anything. And then to get a rotate, you can't do it obviously when he's stressed or anything like that. And they don't have a front and rear. So if you want to shoot while you're running. So I lost one of them pretty early because I didn't really protect him. The second one lived until the end of the game. But I think I lost by 16 points in the end. It was against a scum list with Han in the Falcon with the title and 000. So Vader can't go within range 1 of that large base because, like,
bad things happen.
Well, I suppose I could because I'd just be giving Han more calculate tokens and stuff. But then a Surge Ventress, so Vader can't go within range 2 of her mobile arc, or else I take a stress. Yeah, just a bunch of like area denials if he had a quad jumper. So I'm like, I can never be within range of him to do a maneuver and tractor beam Vader. So it was just a bunch of area of the table where I couldn't put Vader, and I had to just get him stuck into fighting the 2 heavies and then get Vader in. So, yeah, it was fine. I think a bit of practice with them, I could see the list working better, but I kind of feel like the TIE RBs might be slightly overcosted, which wouldn't surprise me, them being newer ships that haven't seen a points adjustment yet.
They'll fix that.
That was my first game, and that was against Matt, one of our listeners. Hi, Matt. then second game was the droid list, and that was against some Jedi. Um,
Ooh.
and that I think I flew okay, but I just got absolutely decimated. I that's the only game I'd had. It finished 2 minutes before time, but it wasn't my day. I can pinpoint a couple of mistakes I made, just through lack of flying the gunships. I didn't use. There was a couple of times where I had them in the wrong mode, where like doing the side slip moves instead of being able to do the turns. And I was like, oh, I've messed this up now. So I was like a couple of turns behind the positioning I wanted a couple of times. But I got some good moves in as well. But yeah, the dice didn't bail me out for my mistakes, shall we say. If you want to see me lament it more, I can complain about my dice, but I'm going to be a better man than that. It's just, it's fine. It's casual play. You beat me fair and square.
Just for fun.
Yeah. But yeah, showing him how like doing a 3 hard side slip into a red barrel roll, and suddenly instead of being in the center of the table facing up the table, you're in the gutter of the table on his side facing across, and so weird and wonderful ways that they move. That was good. And then the last game, I got to run the list I posted in the Discord the other day, which was my fat Anakin in the ETA, an 85-point Anakin, and 3 V-wings. I think I might have done. I feel like I've had this conversation before, but I really want the V-wings to be good, and they're
I
just
think
not.
we have. It's one of those things that because they don't have, I mean, up until this new upgrade pack comes out, they don't really have a lot of options. Like they kind of have to be good because what, I mean, aside from like Jedi, what else do they have? Like they don't really
Yeah.
have much of anything to work with.
But this was the most upgrades I've done in a list for a long time. So Anakin's got extreme maneuvers, Predator, ion cannon, R2D2, and a hull upgrade. So it's a bunch of cards. Then each V wing is the Initiative 3 generic with Shadow Squadron Escort. All 3 of them have dedicated thermal detonators, R4 astromech, and the Besh title, or Besh configuration to let them take the thermals. But and that was against a guy playing 2 TIE Defender Elites, which is the double tap defenders. So you get the
Ooh,
cannons and the primaries, and then there was a Saber Squadron in the I-4 Interceptor. And I
that's a
managed.
random ship to add into it.
That's all you have left, and he wanted Initiative 4 and a 3 dice attack.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, he won, so it was fine. I got Anakin and got the ion cannon on one of the defenders, which set him up to eat. It would have been 5 thermals in one round, but he managed to initiative kill one of the V wings. In that game, the dedicated just gave me more chances to roll not evades. It was awesome.
Things that don't help.
Yeah. But my V wings just popped really quickly, and then I think we had like 5 minutes left, maybe, and I had the choice of boosting out of arc with Anakin when he was undamaged. I was like, oh, I think because I've got extreme maneuvers, which when you do a boost, um, you can spend a force to do a hard one instead of the bank one. I was like, I think the hard one sits me just like instead of being in front of his defender, it puts me in his flank facing him. So I get a range one shot on him instead of him getting a range one shot on me. So obviously I did the boost and then it clipped, and I failed my boost and had to go back, sit there with just my 2 force, and he promptly annihilated Anakin in like one shot. All full health, just gone. Yeah,
Oh,
serves me right. I should have just boosted out.
I can't.
But
I
that was
can't
like
tell you
1 in
the
the
number.
morning. Playing some fun games. So
I
I
can't tell you
knew
the
I'd
number of
made the wrong
times that
choice.
I had Soontir Fell with stealth device, and you just blank out all of them, and you like you pick for with one dice roll, picking a ship off the board. It just never feels good. Never.
I was fine. I wasn't too bothered. I got ice. It was my third game of X-Wing. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning or something. I was just happy. Um,
To get
yeah,
actual
it
games in
didn't.
play,
It
yes,
didn't
play it
kind
every
of
day.
feel right to just fully do a running kind of thing. So I tried to get my one little V-wing to take him on that I had left, but I didn't have any bombs left, and yeah, so he won that game. So I lost all 3 of my games and still had a good time.
Because it doesn't matter if you win or lose, you're rolling dice in person. That's a good
Yeah,
thing. That's a good thing.
I
What else
agree.
did you do?
Um, well, I so a confessional time.
Uh-oh.
I've just slept a lot this week. I've still got these fucking mosquito bites from when we went to Drumhell like 2 weeks ago. I'm probably gonna have to like book a doctor's appointment and stuff because they're still like really itchy and really bad. So I've
It's a
been taking the antihistamines for them, but they just knocked me out. So whenever like I've not had Evie, she's been in daycare twice this week, and I've just like slept for most of the day. So I didn't. So I had to paint all day today because the painting I planned on doing on Wednesday I didn't get done. The painting that I planned on doing on Friday was supposed to be different to Wednesdays, but I didn't get that done either. So I'm like 3 full days behind on my painting. Um,
we'll make up to it tomorrow.
yeah, will be good. But yeah, that a bit more. I worked until like 2 a.m. Um, one one shift this week as well. I did. We started playing Arkham Horror again,
Yeah, there
so
you
that was
go.
good. We we started the Dream Eaters cycle, which is we're only 2 cycles behind now, but we haven't done any of the return to boxes that they do. But what am I playing now? I was playing um, Nathaniel Cho, the boxer. So
Ooh.
the
Uh,
first the,
what
the
a
first like
callback to
7.
young Kris.
I was well. I've not generally. I kind of play either the investigative heroes or the investigative investigators or like the rogues because they're all color based. I normally play either like the yellow ones or the green ones because generally Bill will play the blue defender fighty ones. I was like, no, I want to play a defend, so a guardian they're called. So I got to play this guy, but obviously because the boxer he doesn't really use weapons, which is a normal way that they work. So it was just pretty different to play, and obviously because he's one of the new investigators that comes in a pre-built deck. So I literally I didn't pack anything. I just took my sealed deck and opened it when I was there, sleeved it while we were getting ready, and then was learning what my character did as we were playing. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, there's a couple of changes to the deck that I'll make. We kind of changed the rules a little bit. Normally, you've got to spend an experience point to swap out a level 0 card for a different one. And I was like, well, we just agreed, well, if you just make a shitty deck because you're not really sure how your investigator works because you're playing someone new, that just punishes you because you won't get as much experience because you made a shitty deck.
Yeah.
And then to make it better, so you're always like 2 scenarios behind. So we changed, like we house ruled it maybe 2 campaigns in. We're like, yeah, let's try something a bit different.
Well, that makes sense too, especially if it's something you're not experienced with. You don't really know which way to go.
Yeah, if it's a deck building game, like just saying to change a card that you could have put in your deck for free when you started, now cost you points to put in. Just felt a bit off. Generally, the way we do it, because of the old release schedule, you've got like 2 scenarios in the big box, and then you buy the 8, like the 6 packs after that. So we said that while we're playing the first 2 scenarios,
The
you
base
get to
game.
freely change your deck. Once we're in like the middle of the campaign, then we're kind of locked in. But
Yeah, you've had enough time to figure it out by that point.
yeah, but yeah, it's not that long since we last spoke. So
I know there's not a ton to cover over,
we played
unfortunately.
D&D.
We did. We did get some D&D, and we got to have a really interesting combat with spoiler. I don't know if am I allowed to spoil Curse of Strahd?
It's
Does
fine.
anybody care? Yeah, we had an interesting combat with a hut on legs that did a lot of damage. I mean, it was easily all right. First, I know that Chris was not a gigantic fan of the scenario because, as far as the story and the atmosphere that Curse of Strahd drapes over itself, it definitely felt out of place. Of all the
Uh,
stuff that we've done, it definitely
I
felt out of
I'd
place.
put effort in to like figuring out I think I said at the time after we finished the encounter that if you guys had been less murder hobo, it probably would have felt better in that regard because there's a bunch of stuff like
Well, I mean, we pretty much shot from miles away without even really investigating anything.
All right, so I'm curious. This is from the same group that played Village Simulator for 2 sessions straight before we ever left our house. Like we were trying. So like, there's a part of we have a clock ticking in my head that I know that we're going to lose Sean at some point in time because of his work obligations. So
well,
there's a
we
part of
almost lost Sean anyway.
yeah,
If it
we
had
almost
failed
did.
that save.
We almost that's kind of what I was getting at with this combat. But my point is, I think that there's a big part of in my head where we're like, we know that we're trying to button up some loose ends before we finish the campaign, and I'd like to get to the end of that with Sean. I want him to be there, so like he started it with us. I want to be able to finish it with him, kind of thing. So there is, I will admit, there is a part of me that is driven by that desire to make sure that Sean is there at the end with us. So maybe we would have probably role played it out a little bit more than we did. That having been said, even though it was a weird scenario, even though it definitely felt out of place for the motif of everything else, it was an interesting combat that almost TPK'd us. Because if Sean goes down, we are screwed. Because Chad almost died. I think Alan would have probably been the next to go down at that point, and we have no healing.
Greg got down to like 20 health or
That's
less
what it
Yeah,
than
was
20 health
too.
as well.
Greg drank a potion. I healed myself a couple times, and then not only I think what it was though is this the first time we've seen expressive damage the way that we did.
Yes.
When you're seeing 30 to 60 points of damage, I don't think we've seen that yet. So I don't think we were ready for that.
No, I mean, we've had some tough encounters, but it was mostly like environmentally tough. Like trying to figure out the puzzle, trying to figure out the best way to approach something. Not like this. This was just straight up something punching us in the face really, really hard.
And that's where after the fact when I sent that message, to the group about, asking some questions about the skull and stuff. That's the first encounter that I've been playing with the group that we didn't think first, we just shot first.
Yes.
And
Although
and
I do recall an old woman that was kidnapping kids that I may have just opened fire on and didn't care from at the beginning of the scenario. That's right, I opened fire on an old woman in the streets, all right? She was
yeah, I mean, but I think that that's the first time we never like stopped and tried to figure something out.
Yep.
We just went and just blasted. We went guns a blazing, and our positioning was terrible. We didn't
Oh
think
god, it
about
was so bad.
anything. We
Hey,
really ran into that one and
here, let's all line up in
probably
a
should have
straight
died.
line
I
so the
think
lightning so the lightning bolt can
two
take us out.
two things saved you in that encounter. The first one was the initiative that I rolled. If I'd have rolled either what, like maybe so, Balboa Saga was at a 12 for the initiative step. If I'd have rolled above a 17, I think, or below a 9, the hut probably comes out because of the way the game flowed. The hut probably comes out a round earlier. So if you're fighting her when she's got a bit more health in the tank and the hut, but because of the nature of how it fell, my plan was that once she hit 50%, she'd call on the hut. But you took her from like 70% down to like 30% in the interim. So she was a little bit more cautious about how aggressive she could be. And then Greg got the 2 counter spells on her lightning bolts.
Yeah, that could have been really, really bad. Really bad. Like dropping multiple characters, bad.
Well, if she gets the 2 lightning bolts off, we lose, I think.
I
Or
agree.
at least we
Pick
lose
one of them up.
people. We lose people at that point, Because I was ready to start rolling my bard there I was down to 8 hit points at one point, and then I got myself back up to like 26, and then I had to roll the save or I die.
Yeah.
Because I'd have been like minus 20 something or minus 30 something at the end of that.
Well, so you would have had you would have basically had a turn where Alan would have had to go to heal you because he was the closest, and if he didn't heal you, you would have been dead.
And he was still pretty far away too. I mean, that would have been cutting it close.
Yeah.
Well, because
it would have been 2 turns.
The spell that went off would have turned you into a zombie, and we can't bring you back from being a zombie.
He still gets his death saves.
Oh, that's true.
But
even if he's that low.
Yeah, you've got to go your hit points as a negative to auto die.
Oh, gotcha.
In
one attack as well. It doesn't like carry over.
Oh.
Well, I'd have been minus 20.
Yeah,
what was I? I'd have been minus 18. Is what I would have been.
What would have happened is the hut would have attacked you, which would have been 2 automatic failed death saves anyway.
So you still had that turn, no matter what.
Like, that's from one attack. If I put 2 attacks into you, you're dead. But I was nice. I never put multiple attacks into the same person from the hut, because if I was an adversarial DM, Balboa Saga casts Power Word Stun from more than 60 feet away from Adara, which he then can't counterspell, and then the hut goes and hits him with advantage 3 times.
And he dies.
And then, they just die. Because the hut's got plus 12 to hit. So attacking with advantage should be 3 hits, which was averaging out at like 28 damage a hit.
I took like 30 some.
Yeah, it's good.
That was good.
I'm confident I could have killed someone, but I tried to play it in the same tone of the campaign so far, but just escalating the stakes. And
that was escalation, all right.
Theseus blew up her hut. That she wasn't very impressed with that.
Yeah, she was pissed.
Yeah, I was ready to roll the bard at that point. That got a little worrisome. Yeah.
That close.
I think in the campaign too, that's the first time I've had to like be a healer, and I was only healing myself.
All right, for mine, I don't have a ton to cover because again, we did just do this about a week ago. This was my off week for going to the game store. My wife has a bike club that she goes to about once a week or once a month, and this is her bike club night. So I ended up staying home on Tuesday night. I did get a game in against Gabriel, who is testing his new list, and damned if I can ever beat that kid. It's funny to me because I'll play Chad and I'll basically do really, really well on that game. And then I'll come home with the exact same list and he basically rolls me. He beat me. So it was so bad that by the end of my fifth turn, 40K is down to 5 turns. At the end of my fifth turn, when I've totaled up all of my points, I was still behind him by 8 points and he hadn't even taken his turn yet. He would have gotten another 15 for having 3 objectives and then some for a couple of his secondaries. Like that wasn't even counting his secondaries. So it was pretty bad. He's got a really brutal list. Space Wolves are pretty darn good. He's really enjoying it. And I think this is the fun part for me. As a parent, having someone having a son who's now really getting into the game and old enough to understand it. Like Gabriel and I used to play a lot whenever he was younger, and it was always the same thing. We did a lot of team events. The group that we used to play with here locally, they stopped doing stuff a few years back. Used to run these great events, and one of the events that would run would be these team events where you each came with 1,000 points, and it was a team of 2 versus a team of 2, and we would do really, really well because I would make Gabriel's list for him. He would know what stuff he needed to do, and he just pointed at stuff and made it go away. That was his whole job. And that's what you do whenever he's they're 8, 9, 10 years old. That's kind of the but now I walk into the living room when I come home from work and he's sitting down with a codex and he's sitting down with battle scribe and he's making lists and he's trying stuff out and he's asking me about rules. Well, what happens to here? And he's got the rule book sitting out there. Like that's happened twice this week where I've come home from work and he's sitting down or he's painting his orcs. Like I've got the wet palette sitting right here next to me. He's sitting down, he's painting. Like he's really getting into it. He's starting to see the tactical side of it. And so there's a lot of fun part for me. So like I like the fact that I have to have a challenge whenever
You'll
I
not
sit down.
you'll not have to go to the game store anymore.
Yeah, I know. Well, as as Sean alluded to, I am kind of curious to see how things go in the next few months, especially when fall comes in. In the U.S., the CDC has announced that they're recommending for kids going back to school to be all masked, whether they're vaccinated or not. My kids will be doing cyber school all year this year, so it's not really going to affect us. But what I do see coming is the very high likelihood. Hopefully, it doesn't happen because all these local businesses are just now starting to get back on their feet. But if they do another shutdown, if things get even remotely close to where they were, they're going to shut everything down again. And then it's going to get to the point where I just got it back. I just got it back. I just got that taste of this is what it's like to go out to the game store. This is what it's like to see people that don't live in your house or you don't work with on a screen. Like you can go out and actually see individuals and human beings and interact and roll dice on tables with friends. Like I just got that part back to my life and I'm enjoying it so much. It's gonna be soul crushing if it gets to that point. Like I don't know that I would ever quit a game over something like that, but that would genuinely be like honest to God depressing. Like so I'm again not trying to make it political in any way, shape, or form. I do just wish decisions were a little bit different and things would be a little bit different that we could get this thing kicked and we can all start returning to life as normal. So here's to hoping. My main concerns, of course, are that I want our local businesses to stick around. I want my local game store to stick around so I have a place to go and play. And selfishly, I just want to be able to go out on Tuesday nights and play games. I really do. Um, yeah, I've got painting with Kris on Sunday. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. My hope is I'm starting new stuff. I think I may have mentioned this already. Um, I'm almost done with all of the models that I want to play in different varying lists for 2,000 points for my Necron. I have a handful of models that came in the Indominus box set that still need to be painted. And I have a squad of Lich Guard that I bought years ago that I never got around to painting that I have primed that I should probably put up. And I think I'm going to finish all of those. But as far as Necrons are concerned, I'm done. I think I've got a grand total of all right, so that's not entirely true. I do have a full squad of 20 upstairs I need to paint of my warriors that are replacing my retiring old small base Necrons with the big ones. But like I batch paint those. Those are actually not that hard, especially with Necrons are a great army to play if you're a 40k player and not really good at painting because literally it's Krylon, Null Oil, Highlight, base, done. So like I genuinely can crank those out fairly quickly. I'll even give you Chris's formula for how to do the green glowy rods because they actually do look really good. I'm really impressed with the way those came out actually. I'm enjoying so much so that I'm because I have a combination of my old models and new models. There is a couple of models that came out when their late fifth edition, early sixth edition codex came out that still has that little the circle line bars that go through the weapons that I'm now going to go back and repaint with the new scheme so that they all match
Yeah.
because they so like for example I have three annihilation barges that I now look at and I hate because they don't match the rest of the scheme. So I mean, but that's 10 minutes worth of work. That's going through with white to go over all the stuff that's there and then doing the contrast paint over it and then they're done. But I want them all to match now. So I have some touch up, but like in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna be done with my Necrons. And then the question is, well, where do I move from there? My son has pushed me in the direction. It's a little hard to see, but behind me, I have three Trigons and a winged hive tyrant that are sitting there primed in white, waiting to get painted that I have never got around to painting. I'm probably gonna shift gears and maybe finish those. I also probably have a full squad of 20 Gene Stealers I need to do, but Gene Stealers are super easy to do. Like they're not that difficult to paint out. And a Brood Lord, and maybe a handful of other Necrons. Like it's getting to the point, though, legitimately, like with the models that I know I'm going to be sending Chris's direction here really, really soon. Um, I'm running out of models to paint, so now I've got all these Indominus Marines, and what I'm telling myself, I have eyeballed combat patrol boxes I want to pick up, and I'm holding off. I'm hitting the brakes until all that stuff's painted because once all that stuff's done, then I can start focusing on a new painted army.
Are you a true hobbyist? You're supposed to have like 800 models that need to be painted.
Well, all
That's
right,
what
so
that's what every meme shows me
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, the pile of shame. I do have a pile of shame. I'm going to send it to Chris so it's out of my sight. If look legitimate, some of those models, honestly, Sean, I've had for probably a decade. It's one of those
Oh
things
no,
like
no, I believe it.
I've
I
picked
get
up
it.
in trades. Somebody wanted this, I traded this for that kind of thing, and I've just never gotten around to painting it. And if I've never put it on the table, like I'm at the age now, if I haven't put it on the table to actually play with it, I'm probably never going to. Now, sure, could the rules change and Land Raider Crusaders could be awesome again? Then I'm gonna have to go out and buy them again? Maybe. Sure. But until that time happens, I don't need three of them sitting in a box that I haven't painted. I have
Yeah.
five Rhino chassis in different degrees of either a Razorback Rhino or a Predator that I'm never gonna field. I'm a gigantic fan of the Vindicator, and I think it's a really cool looking model. I think I might hang on to that one if I get the itch to paint some more like Astartes Marines kind of stuff. But beyond that, I think the rest of it's all going either the route of the eBay or the route of the Chris. So only the only stuff I have left is stuff that still needs to be painted. So what it will do is it'll force me into a position to be like, okay, you got this new box set, you have to paint it all before you can buy something else. Like if I keep telling myself that, I can start keeping that position of everything I show up with is painted.
No,
And
that makes sense. That makes total sense.
because trust me, I was that guy. I was the hey, neat. I want to play this army. And I'm going to spend $500 to go buy all these models and played with gray plastic for years and years and years until I had been shamed by Chad. Like, oh, look at that! You don't even have a fully painted army.
Oh
So
no, I felt that because my son has his stuff primed and then started painting some of his stuff, and I don't know if you could see it in the picture I sent you guys, but I'm playing with all gray, and half of his stuff is at minimum primed, and some of them already have color, and I'm just like,
Oh
man,
no.
this looks terrible on the table like this, and it's like even if I just had them primed, with the blue, just get
yeah,
the McCrag blue primed and start him out that way, it would have been better. But of course, I only have, 17 models put together, so I can't feel that bad,
yeah, no,
really.
no, no, no. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning for you. It's fine. Like I found when I was going through. Oh, that's the other thing. I finally have broken down and I put the two Alpha Wing Star Wings on eBay. Like I can't keep deny I can't deny it anymore. Like Because here's the deal, I really want to add 2 or 3 more models to the Sisters of Battle, and if I want to do that, I need to be able to pay for those. And if I've got 2 Alpha Wing Star Wings that are just sitting there collecting dust, and I'm probably never going to field, there's a part of me that feels like maybe I'm keeping those out of circulation for someone who does want to field it and does want to play it. And if I mean, I'm gonna make $100 on them, I'm gonna make $100 on them. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion that like you should just keep what you're actually going to play now,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
that's my
That's
cabinets are
actually
filled.
that's actually where I'm at too.
Yeah, start thinning the ranks a little. If I'm never going to play First Order, I should probably get rid of my First Order stuff. If I'm never going to play Resistance, I should get rid of my Resistance stuff. I already plan to send Kris all of my Scum stuff because as cool as the faction is, it's not. It's always going to be. I'm always going to fly Imperials and Rebels. That like legitimately, that's always going to be Star Wars for me. So that's probably all I'm going to ever fly moving forward.
Should keep First Order
Yeah, maybe.
because it's Kylo, you know.
Kylo, I know, and I've got the fat Kylo, and I like my fat Kylo. Maybe. I mean, I don't have a ton of First Order, so I don't think it's going to make or break it if I just only hang on to 5 or 6 ships. But I mean, I got oodles and oodles and oodles of stuff over the years of playing X-Wing that literally probably the first time I cracked that box in 18 months. Like before the pandemic was probably the last game I played physically in on a table. So yeah, and the epic ships. I'm going to keep the epic ships, not because you can't find them anymore, just because they're damn cool.
Yeah.
I still I'm that CR90 is still so it's badass to have that curling Corvette. Sometimes I just look at it, just oh look, it's so cool.
Yeah, I got 2 of those. So if you ever want a second one.
Uh, so I had all right. This is how insane I was because we did this event. This is one of the events that actually got kicked off the X-Wing community at my local store. What we did, Chad and I hosted an epic event when the CR90 came out, and we had 3 on the table. He had one, and I had bought 2. I've since sold one because someone wanted one. But at one point in time, I owned 2, and we had 3 CR90s on the board, and we just had all these other little ships. And legitimately, we set the scenario up so that people could just literally walk up to the table, roll some dice, and like, oh, you're dead. You want to play again? No? Okay, cool. And then they would leave. And that's legitimately that event is what kicked off the X-Wing community there at the store was just seeing CR90s on the table, and then nobody ever played Epic. As much as I desperately tried to get it going. But yeah, no, so that's it. Not a ton more. Like I said, it's only been about a week. I'll have more to talk about on the next episode because I should probably have 2 more weeks of 40K going on.
I think I'm gonna make you play a game of X-Wing at some point as well. We'll play a game on Vassal, or
I
else
think
you
that's
can play Chad in the store.
a great idea.
I'll let
I've
you
got a
choose, but you know.
oh well. So it's funny to me because like for me, it's like I want to play. We're switching this week coming up. Chad's gonna play my son.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Logan. Um, just because I want Chad to play somebody else, and maybe things will turn out a little bit different. I don't know that they will because Gabe's list is pretty brutal. Um, but I also want to see how bad it is fighting against Gazgul because Gazgul seems like a monster, but the Nightbringer is also equally monstrous. So there's a part of me that wants to do like an arena battle, just crash them into each other in the middle and see which one comes out in the end, kind of thing.
Mm.
But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. That's it. That's all I got. And I'm
So
looking.
in the podcast crap channel, I posted the 4 tweets that came out this week from Atomic Mass Games. So we have some like pilots and more upgrades, and the actual dials and the action upgrade slots for the ships now.
Now, for the record, we were going to save this for the next show because we were going to be getting off to Inquisitor Martyr, and now that's not going to happen.
Well, I figured that by the time I condense this, we're at we'll be at like 40 minutes. So I figured we could, try and push for the 90-minute mark.
Sure. All
Uh, we
right.
can
Well,
we can put a pin in it if you want to, and we can go and play Inquisitor.
I'm only thinking of.
Or if you just want to do half of them, I don't know.
There's no way I'm going to get through half of these. I'm going to want to go through all of them. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to start looking into these new Y Wings that are coming out. We've got a named pilot, Lega Fossong. Uh, Initiative 3, while performing a primary or turret attack, you may reroll one attack die for each friendly device or calculating friendly ship in the attack arc. Now that's interesting. For each friendly device
So
in your
drop bombs,
yeah, I'm trying to
but
think of
they have to be bombs with delayed fuses or mines, effectively.
right, because I'm trying to think of if it's in your forward firing arc, your primary firing arc, that means you're going to run into it next turn unless you do something special here. So that's interesting. I like the idea of adding attack dice, especially like we only have one turret to my knowledge. It's a
There's still a dorsal, but it's terrible. So,
okay. So like I said, we only have one turret that I'm aware of that's in
yeah,
it. So that's an interesting pilot. We'll see how that one turns out. We do have some upgrades that come along with them too. Um, Overtuned modulators comes with one charge. It is an illicit, just for the same, just so we're on the same page. During the system phase, if you are not stressed, you may spend one energy to gain 3 calculate tokens. Ooh, now that's interesting.
yeah.
During the end phase, if your charge is inactive, for each green token you remove, you can gain 1 stress,
One strain.
1 strain. So basically, it's saying if you're going to put those calculate tokens on, you damn well better use them because otherwise you're
But
getting
it's not
strain
even
after.
that. It's every end phase after that. Yeah.
Oh,
So
oh! I did not read it that way.
yeah,
That
because the two independent statements.
they
So
are that they are
yeah, if in any end phase your charge is inactive, you and you remove a green token, yeah, sucks to be you. But I actually
So
don't
there's
think it's that bad.
so there's a little bit of risk reward in that card then.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of risk for a one turn of reward. That's what my
Well, so
that's what
remember
my fear with that is.
in the end phase, so you've got an entire planning phase to dial in a blue, and strain. I believe a blue move clears all of your strain.
Correct. But you're going to be gaining it every turn if you're even at minimum if you're taking a focus action.
I mean, you always spend your focus. Never once.
No, not always. I mean, so I mean, don't get me wrong. Having them, this is the problem I have with. Oh, could it be good? Sure. Because in an instance, you could have a 3 attack range that you've target locked, that you've spent to target lock. You come up with all eyeballs, and you spend all 3 calculates to get all 3 hits through. Sure. It could happen. What could also happen is you could either roll all hits and blanks, never actually use the calculate tokens, and then get stuck with 3 strain right there.
Do you want me to tell you why this is going to be good?
I would love to
Yeah.
hear. I mean, don't get me wrong. I
So
see the up.
the reason it's going to be good is because of the negatives that you spoke about and how risk averse the general X-wing population is, and the fact that that means that when this card comes out, it'll be like 1 point.
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
So
you're
it'll be
right.
massively undercosted when it comes out. So I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't like. I'm going to take it on a ship that clears stress, and like I'm going to put it on something that's got good blues.
I do think it's important to note that that's a generic. That can go on any ship that can take an illicit upgrade.
Yeah, yeah. So you can put it on Star Vipers, and you know,
Hmm.
yeah, be easy.
So we have a new astromech, the Watchful astromech. I still wish they bring because they did not bring K2 KT K2S2 over. Did the pink astromech? They did not bring that back over yet, did they?
I don't think so.
I wish they would. This would have been a perfect spot at least to use the artwork, but alas, that's just a personal thing. After you perform a reload action or a
Rotate.
all rotate. Thank you. I was trying to figure the exact wording for it. If you are in an enemy ship's firing arc, you may perform a red calculate action. That's an interesting one. Because especially if you're in a position where you're trying to, like, you're out of arc, it at least gives you the opportunity to turn your turret or reload your bombs, and then at least take some sort of defense because you basically know you're going to get shot the next turn anyway. That turn anyway, I like it. I don't know that it's great. I mean, I like it.
So this is the opposite of the other one. So this is buying insurance. So they
Yeah,
love this will cost like 50 points.
yeah.
This will be terrible because it'll
It's
if you reload, you can't shoot. I mean, no, that's a lot. It's a generic one, so maybe on like punishing one, but no, because even then you. No, I don't know. I don't see it. It's going to be terrible.
yeah.
One red calculate on a ship that has these actions. So yeah, bad.
Well, that's a generic as well. It's any ship that can take an astromech can take it. So it's not. I mean, I when you look at the contents of the box and you look, okay, you're thinking specifically this was designed to fly with a ship. Yes, but there are other ships that can take astromechs that it could be good on, that have better dials.
Yeah.
Last but not least, for the Y-wing bombers, we've got L4E R5. Is that supposed to spell laser? Because it looks like it. This is a resistance only astromech. It does give you the reload into a calculate for
Rotating to calculate.
rotate into calculate for a white. Now that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
At the start of your engagement phase, you may transfer one calculate token to a friendly ship in your firing arc.
Yeah.
A little bit of the old, was that Horton Psalm that used to do that? Something similar, or is it what was the Y wing before that used to pass focus tokens?
Focuses. I don't know. Alright.
I'm thinking Jake Farrell. That
Yeah, Jake can get passes out focus actions. Garvin, as you spent focuses, you could pass it to a different person.
Yeah.
And then the Y wing, I think, would have been the guy who gives target locks out.
maybe
Dutch
that's what it was.
Dutch
Dutch.
Vander.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Dutch.
thinking.
Yeah,
It's a little
Dutch.
bit. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking a Dutch. This is going to be good. Again, it's going to be points dependent, but this is going to be good because it basically gives you hands on to the. Hang on, let me take a look at the action bar again on the Y wing for this one. So first of all, it goes into what we were talking about before. It's adding more. It's more bolt-on stuff. It's more bolt-on stuff for the Y-wing chassis that adds the rotate that's white and into a white calculate. I'm really liking the design space of how they did this with the Y-wing.
So what you want to do is skip the next post I did and go to the next one down after that, which is Y wings again, because
Okay.
then you can see the upgrade bar and the dial for Y wing.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, so they do give it. Whoa. Okay, so let's look at the dial first. I'm surprised. This doesn't actually surprise me now that I'm thinking about it. So they have one banks and one's straights, all in blue. They have the entire two suite. Only the two straight is white, but everything else or is blue. Everything else is white. Does have a hard three in red, a three straight in blue with three banks. Has a four straight in red and a 5K turn. So pretty much what I was expecting.
I like the
For
5K.
I like the
Yeah,
5K.
the 5K is nice.
Put some distance between. It's the upgrade slots that I'm kind of diving into. So it does have the talent slot. It does have the modification slot. It obviously has the turret slot, the
So
R2 slot,
that's a tech slot.
tech slot. Thank
Yeah.
you. You're right. You can take at least one device, two modifications, and the titles.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. I mean, that's for the New Republic Patrol, which I think was the Initiative 3 generic
Mm-hmm.
from memory. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
So
it seems pretty good.
the two modification slots is genuinely where I'm getting into the bolt-on stuff that you can put onto this chassis.
So you take like this would please you. You could take an engine upgrade, and then you could give it expert handling for a talent, and then you've got a white barrel roll and a white boost
On a Y-wing.
and a Y wing, and when you do them, you may perform a calculate action.
Right, because you got the astromech on board. It's
Oh,
probably 58 points, but
but yeah, there's a bunch of interesting things you can do, I think.
I think so too. The next pilot we have is at Initiative 4, Teza Naz. While a friendly ship is at range 0 to 2, performs an attack if the defender has a ship friendly to the attacker in each of the side. Oh, okay, so you're saying in each of the side arcs, the attacker may reroll one attack die.
They love putting words in
Yeah.
in these cards to make them difficult. So if the ship you're shooting at is in between two of its friends, you get to reroll one attack die.
Yeah. So if you're facing against a swarm, for example, or they're flying in some type of formation,
shoot the one in the middle.
Yeah, shoot the one in the middle, and then you get an extra attack, or you get to reroll an attack die. It's a soft, it's a soft mod. I like that. And then in Ish 4, that's a good spot for it.
Yeah, and it's all friendly ships within 0 to 2 of you.
So it does work on her
So
as well.
yeah,
Her, I don't know if Taz is male or female. That character, I don't know. And Sasha Zaro coming in Initiative 3. After you defend, you may choose a friendly ship in your rear firing arc at range 0 to 2 and one of your green tokens. If you do, that green token that ship gains a matching green token. So this is even better. There's some more action economy going.
Yeah, I like this one as well.
So you can have the astromech on the first ship that fires, and if it doesn't spend it, you can pass that, or you don't even need to pass. It's not a passing. They just gain the token.
This is after you, so they have to shoot at you, and then so yeah, this is the ship you want to lead your charge with, and then you just let it like. What I would do, because I'm an absolute douche, is I would take like the what's it called? Reinforced deflectors. Because then because I think Republic have got a way to carry over a token into a next phase. Oh, even like if you can get multiple actions. So you reinforce the front and then have the focus token as well from I say coordinate or whatever. And you just charge forwards with this reinforced Y-wing. And let people shoot it, so you can just give everyone behind you focus tokens. Be fine.
What says a friendly ships? You can only do it once. Although every time
after you defend, so every time you defend,
would proc every single time she shot.
Yeah. Oh man, I rolled a focus. You know what? I'm gonna let you have that.
You just pass focus to all the ones that have target locked behind me. Good luck.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's going to be interesting. All right,
so skip to a bottom one now, because this is the one that Sean was interested in, I believe.
Oh, I wanted to see the Whisper.
I know, but I want you to save that until last, because that's one you're excited about.
I know. All right, fine. All right, so the TIE SE Bomber. Woo. Okay, so this actually kind of this does surprise me a little bit, actually. So it does have a one hard turn. It is red. It has the full suite of ones. The one turns are red, the banks are white, and the straights are blue. It's the full suite of twos. Only the two are straight. Everything else is white. Has the full suite of threes. Everything's white with the exception of the blue three straight. It also has a three sloop, Sengar's loop. Four straight. Oh. Yes.
This is a B-wing and a half.
Yes.
Sean's a big fan.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I love B-wings. This might be my resistance B-wing that I have to buy.
Your first order B-wing.
First order B-wing.
First order B-wing, yeah.
Yeah. This is good. So you get to drop bombs with it, so you can do the.
Oh yeah, I didn't get that far.
And this is the system phase boost as well. So yeah, where do we go from a pilot?
So It's got an get up with the upgrades that it's got. I think this is for which one did you say this was for? This looks like it's going to be for the Initiative 2. It's going to have a talent slot
Initiative
li-
2.
at Initiative 2. Just throwing that out there.
No,
Um,
maybe I'm wrong here. You keep
Well,
going.
it's the
I'll
first.
double check.
Yeah, it's first order cadet. So
yeah.
Hmm.
The tech slot, torpedoes, missiles, the gunner slot, bombs, and one modification slot. So
Yeah,
this
it's
is
Initiative 3.
it's for the Initiative 3 one.
Yeah,
well, once again though, we're talking about an unnamed pilot, so
yeah.
a non-prime pilot getting special things that you can really do quite a bit with. And these, so what would you say about 60 points a bomber?
I mean, after
That's
you've
a little
loaded it
high.
up, it will be.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know about
Yeah,
base.
I mean,
yeah.
I would want it if you. Let's have a look. We're going to do the thing that everyone hates and compare it across faction.
Which isn't necessarily fair.
So,
But
Gamma
but if you can,
Squad. So it's
so if
Gamma
you compare it
Squadron
to a
Bomber.
B-wing,
Oh, the Gamma
'cause-
Squadron Bomber is 30 points, and that's the Initiative 3 Empire Bomber, which has the same amount of hit points, only 6 from a hull instead of 4 hull, 2 shields. So then, like, your ability's a lot better. You're still a 2
AKA
dice
more.
primary. I reckon it's going to be like 35 points.
so at 35 points, you're fielding what, 5 of them?
Yeah, I think you probably do 5 once you put some missiles or torpedoes on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just become range 1 knife fighters after that.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. You're going to put bombs on as well because that
Oh,
system
absolutely.
phase
So
shenanigans is just silly.
you're gonna fly 4 of them and find filler for the 5th, and then you're gonna sit there and play that. I mean, I'd play them just like B-wings at this point. B-wings with massive bomb loads and missile
Yeah.
loads.
Yep.
So the thing to remember with them as well is like, oh no, my hard one is red. It's like, if only I could just do it in the system phase as a white boost.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
because like
Exactly.
you could put Daredevil on it, and then you could do in the system phase you could do a hard turn,
Yeah,
and
it's the
then
GTFO, and
Yep.
here's my crap behind me.
yeah,
Yep. Yep.
it still counts as a tie. So all those stupid tie upgrades you can take will fit on it.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
bunch
I
of
mean
fun.
it's an ugly shit. The pilot too is interesting.
I was just
Oh,
looking at that.
Grudge, yeah.
So Grudge comes in the hateful Harrier. I like that. I love the subtext. Comes in an Initiative 2. When a friendly bomb or mine at range 0 to 1 detonates, each time an attack die are rolled to resolve this effect, you may re-roll one of those dice. Say what now?
So reread that whole thing. So
While a
reread it.
friendly bomb or mine at range 0 to 2 detonates, so it has to be a friendly bomb, or so a mine or a bomb that's friendly to you. You don't have to have dropped it. Someone in your squad has to have dropped it, and it has to be
Right.
detonating. So either a mine that someone's ran over, or at the end of the activation phase, a bomb going off.
It
Each
can be
time you roll an
yours.
attack dice for it, um, you may re-roll up to one of those dice. So, say I'm playing against Ed, and Ed flies into my nest of like 12. No,
Cluster.
it said we'd be running 5 of them, so we'll call one of them Grudge as well. So I took thermal detonators on all of them, Ed.
There
So
you go.
you're going into all 10 of them because you're shit at the game. We'll just
Yep.
assume,
Of course. Absolutely. I agree. 100%.
Yeah, so every time one of those thermal detonators goes off, as long as it's within range 0 to 2 of me, I get to you roll, and then if I don't like a result, I can re-roll it.
Yep.
So, right.
This is just this is looks like it could be really fun.
Yeah.
A very fun ship to fly.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to like this is one of the things I know everyone hated it whenever I'm gonna say it because I know that it drove people nuts when the flying toilet seats. the Jumpmaster came out. One of the things I loved about when that ship came out is for the longest time, ordnance was not a thing in X-Wing. They were in the base game, they came in the core set, and then maybe you saw torpedoes occasionally, but up until that point, nobody was using ordnance. Now I know that second edition is different. I know that people are still flying things a little bit different, but like this is going to be like a full bomber list. If you're just dropping bombs all over the place or bombs and mines, this guy is a gigantic multiplier.
Yeah.
Wait. And there's more
Yeah, I'm
feed,
not finished.
Oh,
feedback ping.
I
Read
was
that
really
thing.
excited for this card until I looked at the bottom left-hand corner
where it said you have to have the reload action.
where it said I have to have a reload action.
Yep. So after an enemy ship executes a maneuver, if it is at range 0 to 1 of a friendly device, you may acquire a lock on that ship, ignoring range restrictions. What?
Yeah,
So at minimum, this ship can take it, correct? Yes, because you do have the
Yep,
reload action.
you have the reload. So if we're just
I
looking
just
at,
wanted to put it on TIE Fighter because it's a talent as well. So
right,
I wanted to put it on normal TIE Fighters. Have
Oh,
black
I see.
squadrons.
Oh,
yeah,
I see what
yeah.
you're
So
saying.
you could get the target lock.
Yeah, like have a Punisher launching bombs up the field, and then a mini swarm getting target on. I was like, this will be fun. And then reload, boo.
But if I
Yeah.
put it on 4 of these things or 5 of these things,
Yeah, that's all you need to do. Sean's right. You just need to run a swarm of these things. You're going to run 5 of them,
yeah,
then they can all do it.
I literally think this is a great compact. It's like B wings for me. Running B wings in the Pixid formation
Yep.
and loading them out as much as you can. Do as much as you can with them, and then use the abilities on these things. I mean, even if they're pilot skill or the initiative 3 ships, and they don't really have much in the way of what they do, having that on there alone makes 4 or 5 of these things brutal.
I agree 100%.
And
And then
then
you're just
drop.
feeding into that generic ship meta again, Sean.
I know, which I
The
love.
the,
I'm
the,
a
the
huge
lost
fan of.
the lost
You
conversation
just
that we
need a
had.
way to get the device up up the field. Because
You need the suicide ones. What you need to do.
Yeah, yeah. Because the best part about this is I can actually fly this and pix it again
Yes.
because it has the one straight. And that's the key. The way to keep formation is fly slow. And then you send the ship out when you need to sit there and just drop
I
the
didn't
bomb wherever you
even
need it.
I didn't even twig on the one straight, Sean. I'm terrible at the game. I was thinking like normal TIE fighters were like the TIE Advance, sorry, where it's one herds, one banks, no.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes that formation flying on like the B wing, like I talk about, is that one straight. It amplifies what you can do with them. Now the bad thing about these is there's only 2 green dice, but it's still one better than a B wing.
Yep. One
Yeah.
better than B wing, and people did it with B wings all the time.
And if you can pop target locks and some missiles at them, and then drop some bombs in your wake while they have to sit there, and all you're doing forcing them to do is just break formation, take them out of what they're trying to do. Yeah, this could be
You're gonna.
pretty good.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's gonna be range 1 of the device, but if you're running all generics, you could easily pull that off.
Because it's not limited,
Right.
The
so
problem you
this can
have for
go.
First Order is that this is the only ship that can take a device.
Now.
And that's fine with me.
Well, sorry, technically not true because I don't are remote devices. You've got the sensor boy thing, but that's wrong. It doesn't matter. Well, I'll just be wrong. It's fine.
No, I'm just saying if you're gonna put a ship in a box, so if this all comes in that box, I don't
Yeah.
think you can ask. You really can't ask for more at that point. I don't think.
Well, Ed would ask for the TIE Whisper.
I know he would.
Oh, I suppose I get to talk about that now?
Yeah.
I'm allowed?
See how I
Okay,
segued that?
that's a good
It
segue.
was awesome.
Alright, so let's look at some dials. Um, a little bit it's a quicker ship, so I totally understand this. So, the only thing that it has in ones is the hard one, which for
Normal
a
TIE
knife fighter.
fighter.
What's that?
That's
Yeah,
like a
normal
normal TIE fighter
like a
thing.
normal TIE. It does have the entire suite of twos. The two banks and two straights are going to be blue. Has the entire suite of threes. The three banks and the three straights. That's interesting. Are blue. It also has the three Segner loops. It has a four straight, which is blue, a 4K turn, and a five straight that's blue. I like it. And a 5K turn. This ship's all over the board. With the Sagnar loops, the 4K and the 5K, you have no idea where the ship's going to end up going as far as whenever it decides to pull the old choreogram. And then it's got enough blue to clear all the stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All you're
like it.
lacking is hard turns being blue, but that's been something they've been playing around with since the Jedi came out, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but doesn't the ship base come with a boost? Yeah, so it's got a boost into a reload. I don't know that it. I mean, I agree. You're right. It is missing that, but there are ways
It
around.
means a boost into a rotate. Okay.
Well, yeah, it does boost into rotate, but I mean, it does have a boost. I was looking for
Yeah.
the main thing. It does come base with two talent slots, a missile slot, device slot, or the tech slot, and then of
Yeah.
course the title. And we've got a new pilot, Wrath, coming in at I5. That's pretty good. The Herald of Destruction. After you perform a bullseye attack, if you have one or more non-lock red or orange tokens, you may perform a bonus attack against a different target. Woo! All right. So then the question becomes: is what non-lock red tokens can you pull off on this base?
Stress. So if you stress yourself and have a bullseye shot, I mean, if we look again at I don't think I linked it, but we spoke about it last time. The jamming suite,
Yep.
where you can jam yourself now, which would give you an
Yep.
orange
I
token.
did. I didn't think about that. You're right. You're right. Well, because I was thinking more along just like baseline, the fact that it's got a Segner's loop and it's got all these different, like, legitimately the stuff that it came up on the dial. It's got so many different options for being able to pull off the old choreogram that you could end up getting not one but two attacks off it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's still baseline. That's still really good. This, oh wait, this is the ship. This is the ship that only has a primary bullseye arc. Now I remember.
it's got the turret as well, but it's only 2 dice attack.
Right, exactly.
But
So
you
there is
can
some.
have the turret pointing to a rear, which could be uh, as a missile. So
Correct.
you can shoot someone in the front with your bullseye and fire a missile at the back.
Yep. All in the same turn. This could be, and it's at I5 too. This could be dangerous. This could be this is a really good pilot. It's situational, I get, but being able to pull off double attacks in this game is extraordinarily strong. I like it. It's going to be. This is going to probably be the highest easily.
Well,
We all
Kylo will be in it, so
well, Kylo will be in it too, but unless he's got a new subtype and his ability is different, I mean, it could. They have been experimenting with that. So it does come
um,
with its. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I I can't remember what he does, but I know he's got 3 force, so
Oh yeah,
yeah. So whatever he does, it doesn't matter because he's got 3 force, so it's going to be more expensive than Wrath.
right. Because forces. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cool mechanic they added in the second edition, but it cost you in the points department.
Yeah,
So it does come with its own tech slot, tech as well. This is viable for both the Whisper and the Silencer. Um,
yeah,
at setup, gain one cloak token. That's interesting.
yeah.
While you are cloaked, other ships cannot acquire a lock on you. During the end phase, if you are cloaked, and there is an enemy ship at range 0 to 3, you must decloak. If you do, that decloak fails, lose 1 cloak token. So basically it's a one-time. What was
Yeah.
the there used to be a
Contraband? No. Yeah.
th-
Yeah, I know what you mean.
there used to be a one-shot cloaking device.
Yeah, it was when you rolled a focus. It's still in the game. I just can't remember what it's called. I could work,
My
I suppose.
so
It's
basically
an illicit
it's
upgrade at the minute.
I'm just trying this. So they can't acquire a lock on you, so they don't get the options for
It's just
reroll.
called a cloaking device. So, okay.
Wasn't it called something different in first edition? Like it was like because it used to be an illicit. It was like I don't know contraband. Like you said,
Yeah, it was from a Mist Hunter pack. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's just a cloaking device. I don't know.
yeah. Well, because the Phantom had the advanced cloaking device, the one that didn't
Yeah.
fail on you, I guess. So that's an interesting one. It's the setup that you'll be able to pull off the cloaking token. That's again, I like the design space that they're playing with being able to have a ship come on the board already with a cloak token, getting all the benefits from.
This just makes me want to pay the 32 points or whatever it is for supernatural reflexes on Kylo.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Because, right, so I'm cloaked, which means in the system phase, I get to decloak.
Yep.
So I could go, in the system phase, I could decloak 2 forwards. Then I could use supernatural reflexes in the system phase to do a 1 bank boost to the left. Then I could barrel roll to a right off or auto thrusters. Then I could perform my 2 hard to a right. And then I'll take my focus on my target locks. I've got force.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them, by the way.
Yeah.
It is restricted specifically to just the Whisper and the Silencer, so it's not going to be the same. But I mean, does this feel like a fixed card to you?
No, I don't think. I think it, outside of stupid use cases like that, I think it's just a good tech. So I don't think it's.
Yeah, I'm not arguing. It is good tech. I like it.
Yes, I don't think I would always take it because, one, it costs points. So
Depending on how it.
I
Yeah.
don't always fill the tech slot on a silencer. And there's no agency. Like, you have to have a cloak token when you start, which means that your weapon, like, you can't fire until you decloak. It's good. I think it's nice if false transponder codes remains in the meta. It's a nice anti-meta choice because you could roll in, get your target lock on them, then they can't target lock you.
Yep.
Uh,
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah. Even like the lower initiative ones, it stops you from suffering alpha strikes from target locks and stuff. Yeah, I definitely think it's going. Like, all of that's all well and good, but it's going to be on Kylo. And
Yeah.
basically, it's whether you'd rather have this or prime thrusters to be able to do your boosts and barrel rolls when you're stressed. So
Always fun.
yeah,
All
that's
right.
it.
So I'm excited. I'm again not an entire. This is the reason why Chris told me to hang on to my first order stuff.
It is the reason I
Because
told you to hang on to your first
it,
order stuff.
it show.
It comes full circle.
It does come. It's almost like he planned that. All right, so we have actually run longer on our short show than we anticipated doing. What are we at? Like, I don't know, 2
We'll
hours?
be at about 90 minutes after I truncate the silence.
Oh, okay, so then we're
We're
right
pretty
where you
much
want.
where I wanted us to be. Good.
Perfect. So that's gonna do it for this one. I do appreciate everyone tuning in. I know, Chris, you've got some of your after show stuff you want to pimp in here real quick. So by all means, please do.
Yep, so I just wanted to say a big thank you to all the people who've reached out recently, especially about the Eevee episode. A surprising amount of good feedback for that one compared to it being the train wreck that it probably actually was. But yeah, that was good fun, and yeah, a bunch of people actually messaged and, like I said, reaching out and just thanking us for what we've been doing. So it's been nice. But yeah, if you keep doing that, you can obviously reach out to us at lackoffocuspodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at Lack of Focus Podcast. You can find us on a Dice Hate Discord, which is always linked in the show notes to the show. And yeah, we've been having some good chats in there again recently, some back and forth, and people mocking me for my terrible choices in X-Wing.
Fairly active
yeah.
community, I would say.
Yeah, thanks again to all the patrons. Obviously, your support's been amazing. I've not done the evade tokens yet, but we'll start working on those to try and get them sent out towards the end of the year. But yeah, that's it, I suppose.
Excellent. Sean, always good talking to you, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to be here. It was a fun night.
It is. Chris, always good talking to you, my friend.
Always good to be here.
And as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We shall see you in the next one. And until then, fly casual. Thank you once again for joining the Lack of Focus X-Wing podcast. Check out Dice Hate Productions for all of the latest episodes, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again next episode.